All right. Hey, good morning. Can you hear me out there? All right. Well, welcome to CoC University. This is our fourth session, so we're halfway through. How many have been here for all four already? How many this is your first one? All right. Well, welcome. Hey, if you missed the other ones, all the other sessions, the previous sessions that we've had, you can find on the BKRHC website, Bakersfield Current Regional Homeless Collaborative website. And if you go back there and you watch those, send me an email at speterson@themissionkc.org, and then just let me know you watched those. Tell me a little bit about it so I know you watched it, and then you can get your certificate at the end of the time too. So everybody who completes all 8 sessions in our last, we're going to have a big party, our last session in October, all right, and it'll be a graduation, and we'll have certificates for everybody who's made it through all the courses. So, hey, normally Jeff Oxford is here with DHS, and he's the one who has provided this great space for us to meet, but he's on a little vacation, and so we have Dacio here running things this morning, but let's thank DHS for allowing us to be here today. Also, the BKRHC staff, where are you guys? I know you're in the back. They're always in the back somewhere back there. They're the ones who help put all these materials together. We have some breakfast treats back there, and we have some coffee and all that. And so help yourself. You can help yourself throughout the morning. And today we are going to be done probably a little bit early. Our third session that we're going to have planned for today on sensitivity training part 2 has been postponed. And so the speakers are unable to make it, and we won't have that one, but we'll catch up with that one later. So we will have 2 sessions today. And after the first session, we'll take a short break, and then we'll be back for the second one. So today we have 2 great ones. Our first one is going to be led by Danielle Cohen, and she's a good friend of mine. And I'm going to bring her up here in just a second. And the second one is going to be led by two guys from Flood, and Flood is here. Manuel and Scott, you'll hear from them, and they're going to take us through what's called progressive engagement. And if you don't know what that is, you will find out, all right? And but today, this morning, our first speaker is Danielle Cohen. She's with Current Behavioral Health and Recovery Services. She's been on staff there for 7 years. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist, and she's very lively, as you will find out. And she has a great presentation on conflict resolution or de-escalation. Anybody ever get into a situation where you're talking with a guest or a client and they get very heated? Yeah. Really? I know it happens every day, right? And so, but we have to know how to handle those situations, and so we can de-escalate, right? And we can bring the temperature back down to normal. Danielle is going to lead us on how to get through all that. She's been at the mission a couple of times teaching our staff, and it's really helped us dealing with the people we deal with each and every day. And for those of you who don't know me, by the way, my name is Steve Peterson, and I'm the Director of Programs at the Mission of Kern County, and I'm also the chair of our CoC for our governing board. And so, but anyway, without any further ado, let's welcome our first speaker, Danielle Cohen. You gotta hold this. You gotta put this
on me. Okay. What's the lapel, my shirt?
Yeah.
All right. Fine. Hey, everybody. Nice to see you all. Thanks for coming. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So I will have a click. You want to click for me back forward, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. You got me. All right, good. Okay, so how to deal with conflict. I didn't hear a lot of people deal with it. You guys don't deal with it? Not at all. So conflict is fun. I like it. It's a time to learn, to move forward. So Just came back from LA, no conflict on the road there, none at all. No. My brother didn't flip off the officer. No, didn't do that. So I was driving to Starbucks because I had time to get like an $8 coffee, right? That makes the world a better place. I see Starbucks cups. And on the way there, my son calls and says, I need my backpack. I'm going to starve to death if you don't bring my backpack. And I'm like thinking, wait, Starbucks is going to change my life. And he's messing with me, right? So then I see the gas. I don't have gas. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? And then, but I'm going to Starbucks anyway, because that's my mission. So I park. And then somebody swoops behind me, right? I'm thinking, whoa, they get out the car. They're like, what the hell did you do? Take my parking place. And I was like, what? There's two of them and only one of me, right? And I'm just focused on the coffee. So I'm kind of a little nervous, right? Kind of keeping my ground, looking at them. They're moving all around. The other one gets out of the car. Think they, smelled a little of that stuff. Don't know, thought that would make you calm. This wasn't calm. So out of the blue, somebody comes out and they're like, hey, how you guys doing? Are you okay? That must be hard that there's no parking here. And I was like, wow, you're right. He's like, you good? And I'm like, yeah, now, wow, you're making me feel a lot better. They're calm. Guess what? That didn't happen. The people were there, but nobody came out to support. You guys do that. You guys do that every day, right? So it's really, really important to take care of yourself. That's why we're doing this. Conflict affects us emotionally and physically, right? So you guys are the superheroes. Think of that. I am a superhero. What's your superhero power? What's your superhero power? Conflict resolution. That's what I'm talking about. See on my team, that's where I'm at. Brenda's right here. Right? What's your superpower? Mine's reflection, deflection. I deflect that. You can't do that. I'm going to reflect it. Take that. Don't project on me. I'm going to reflect it. What's your superpower? I know yours comes from the heart, right? Who has superpowers? We do, everybody. So I'm a superhero. You guys are. You've had me back plenty of times. Chris, I was at the mission. They started fighting. He said, Danielle, stay in the car. Don't get out of the car because I'm ready to go, right? He's like, no, I got this, right? Keith has my back. He gives me learning moments, right? And then tells me, get it up out of here. Get it up out of here and let it go. Okay. All right. So remember, it affects us. So it's important to know this stuff. It's important to be prepared. So, not me. All right. So we're responsible to respond to things every day. We're in charge of it. We're responsible for it. If they're acting up, Diana can't say, no, I ain't dealing with it today. Well, you can. I'll tell you about that later. It's a skill. It's a skill. But we deal with things unpredictable. Do people like unpredictability or the unknown? Do you like it? You don't? Well, we do now because we're prepared. We're prepared. The unknown gives us opportunity, right? We're going to teach because the goal of conflict resolution is to teach so it doesn't happen continuously with our clientele, with our population. It's a teaching moment. It's not we just de-escalated, let me move on to the next. We taught something, right? So we're dealing with unpredictability, mood disturbance, high-risk behavior, weapons. At M Street, weapons in the, what do we have? Safe camping, right? Thank goodness we're not the enemy, but we're dealing with all that stuff, right? So being able to speak and approach is a beautiful thing, right? All right, so it's essential that we have our ability, our coping skills, our superpowers. I like humor. I mean, people aren't usually going to want to fight me if they're laughing. So I kind of stay humorous a little bit. It helps. We're in a very, very serious field. I see everybody, a lot of serious faces. Everybody smile for me. Sit up straight, smile for me. Is it hard? Is it hard? You don't want to smile. Don't do it. Don't do it. No, I'm playing. So real quick, we're not focused on the suicidal ideations, the homicidal ideations. We get a lot of it. I want to kill myself. I want to kill them. But we're not focused on that. We're focused on just the de-escalation, little bit of crisis resolution and conflict. Sound good? All right. So I have like three different, can you hear me if I'm not talking into this? Because I'm struggling. I'm like, I would sing if I could, but I can't. Can anybody sing? I'm distracted. Hello? Anybody? Nobody's participating. Can somebody sing? If I could, I would for you. I couldn't hear. Okay, so assess, observe, right? We go in, hey, you good? You good? Calm down. You good? You good? Yeah. Calm down. So we don't have to do that. We don't. Let it play out. I know I said tantrum. That's a little bit of humor. I used it before. Like, hey, are you done with your tantrum? They laughed. I was like, oh, good. Right? So you can use that, or hey, you done? You want to move forward? So we're just observing. And when we're observing sympathetic nervous system, right? They are in fight or flight. We don't want to be. So how do you work on that? It's called breathing. Who practices breathing daily? What? Where do you practice it? Where do you practice it at? That's right. Does anybody practice it anywhere else? Where? Work. That's right. That's absolutely right. So there's a billion ways to do it. So I practice it daily, right? A couple times a day, too. And I won't project that it's hot yoga. And there is also with, I don't know, well, I'll wait on that. So what I'm going to teach now that helped me a lot with being in poses, with moving to the next level, is breathing in my nose 4 and out my mouth 8. I did it on the way here. I'm trying to do it now. Right? And you can practice it while you're doing it, because we want to practice it now, not necessarily in the situation, right? Why is it important to practice beforehand? Be prepared. Oh, that's right. Stay prepared. I stay prepared so I don't have to get ready. That's right. That's right. And it becomes, if we practice it, then it's an automatic behavior, right? That he shook my hand, that's automatic. He didn't have to think about that. I ain't gonna stop, I'm gonna breathe. Right? It's an automatic behavior, right? So we want to teach the better behaviors. Who we deal with don't have good behaviors. They're maladaptive. Their thinking patterns are not all, but we deal with a lot. But it starts here. If we can do it, then they can do it. Because when we're teaching, is it just speaking to them? No. Who said no? What is it doing? Also receiving it internally in their mind. Okay, all right. But what else are calming them down? Yes. Okay. So right, and verbal isn't always, it's what we do. They notice if we're what? Yeah, absolutely. What's body language?
So your body is speaking or showing how you're feeling.
Right.
What you're saying may say one thing, but if your body is not also showing that, then they're not going to believe it.
Right.
Really follow along with.
Absolutely. So they know when we're paying attention, when we're frustrated, on all of the above. Okay, so breathe in your nose 4 times, out your mouth 8 times. So whenever you're stressed, you're in activity, you're in that fight or flight, right? You're in danger. So we're automatically in it. And it goes back to, why is this important? Because it affects us. I went to the sheriff spot, the SWAT team, and they're like, we die early because we get in a situation that's high stress and our heart, right? And then it's done. Oh, this is so boring. Yeah, for about 2 minutes. I don't even think this works. Hello? I think I turned it off. Okay. All right. So then the next one, so we got the assess, we're observing, we're letting it, we're just observing it. We're conceptualizing, we're saying like, hey, what's going on here? Who jumps right in? Who jumps right in without observing? I did, I used to, I jumped right in it. Couldn't swim or nothing in the pool. Couldn't, jumped right in it. Nobody wants to say they did. Guys do it. No, I'm not doing that. I've seen him jump. Albert's not here, but I've seen him jump right into it. There's some cultural competencies for you right there. So then comes, so being present, really important. What does that mean? What does it mean being present? Be there. Paying attention, thinking about my bills, my paycheck. Responding. Yeah, cool, calm, responding to the person, right? Being present is really important. Seeing their movement. If I'm not present and I'm thinking about something, you know, you're in my face before I know it because I'm thinking about something else and now I'm in danger, right? So I need to be present. I need to breathe. I need to relax. I need to be in the moment because they're going to notice it. I promise you, if you're frustrated, whether it's a crisis or not, your client's going to know and they're going to get you. They're going to be like, oh, she's frustrated. Oh, I'm going to keep her for a longer time. I'm going to stop her. I'm going to get her while she's moving. They know. They know. All right. So why is it important? So, okay, step 3. Then we move on to the prevention and intervention. There's a difference, but you still have to use both of them during. So they're different, but you can use them interchangeably, right? So does anybody want to share like their thoughts, the difference between prevention and intervention? I'm going to start calling on people. I'm just going to come at you, just tell me no, 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 no. Oh, you, yay. Different.
All right, so prevention is stopping something before it occurs or stopping behavior before it happens. And intervention is
Beautiful. And then the interventions work later as a prevention. Hey, you remember that intervention we did together? You remember that when you mad at me? And you're going to be like, yeah, I remember. And then they're going to self-redirect. And then we develop new skills, right? It's always a time to develop new skills. So why is it important not to solve a problem? Why is it important not to solve the problem? Because we do. I see it every day. Oh, well, you can go catch the bus, or you can do this, or hey, let's, you know, you're solving it all day long. Why is it important not to solve their problem?
let them solve their problem.
Okay.
Let them figure out a way to solve their problem.
Let them solve it. Why let them solve it?
Because they need to be able to.
No. They always, I'll do some active listening. Oh, you tell me.
Because they need to be able to deal with it and learn how to cope with their own problems.
Right.
Because we can't be hand in hand with them during their life.
Right. And I'll do this one last one. You're absolutely right. We got to let them solve the problem. I saw you, yay, in the red, beautiful. It's a skill. You're absolutely right. So if we solve their problem, we can escalate the situation, right? Oh, do this, do this. You're like, you're not listening to me. You're not listening to me. No, do this. Right? And the client is not feeling heard and understood. If we solve the problem, they're not solving their problem and they're not feeling heard and understood. So they're going to keep on going and then they might escalate. Maybe I shouldn't run up and down there. Right? So we don't want to solve their problem. Instead, we want to empower them. A lot of our clientele, a lot of us, so when I teach interchangeably. We are clients too. We are the number one. When we write, they're right? You matter. You matter. Every person next to me matters. So we want to empower them. things have been stripped from us when we've been abused, when things happen, our power is taken away. And if we do things for you, if I do everything for you, if I set your phone for you, if I Open Door Network does restraining orders, helps with restraining orders, correct? When it was Alliance, we used to help with restraining orders and harassment orders. Who's at Open Door Network? Do they help with that? Yep. Yeah. I used to do it for them until I realized that ain't helping. I want to empower you. When you help me, that's great. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Sometimes we need that help. But find those opportunities to empower. What are we going to eliminate? Is a lot of our clients have that symptom? Yeah? You see it all the time? Yeah, I have a felony. I'm helpless. I'm hopeless. You know, I'm unsheltered. My brother just graduated, and he told me it's not homeless, it's unsheltered. I was like, okay. So, you know, whatever. No, but I think they're going towards that way. I think even inmates, that's going away too. I don't think the convicts are gonna like that. They're gonna be like, no, I'm convict. So, you know, things are ever changing. Does anybody know the unsheltered? Yeah, you've heard that? Okay, I'm not the only one up here. Yeah, we've heard it. Okay. All right. So we wanna get rid of this, and that's empowerment. Any thoughts? Any thoughts so far? We can save it to the ending, but so far? Okay, good. Okay. See, you have my back. Good looking out.
I find it's easier and better to help encourage them instead of doing it for them, to give them a way to start learning to do it on their own. Even when they're hurt and broken, if you give them that lifeline of encouragement and trust, they're going to want to do it on their own.
I like that encouragement. Oh.
Yeah. If you're always the one solving their problem, you're always going to be solving their problem, and they're never going to learn to do it on their own. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Empowerment is so important.
So sometimes we got to think why we do that. Oh, go.
There's more value to that, whatever it is on their own. So it might have more of an impact later on in life.
You're absolutely right. It does. The more energy we put into something, the more we want it. That's why we sometimes stay in boo-boo relationships, because we put all that energy into it, right?
And also we help break that pattern or that cycle of codependency.
That's right. So why do we want to fix it? Sometimes we got to look at that within ourselves, right? So we can change. Yes. Let me come to you slowly. Yeah. Because my little sympathetic nervous system.
Why do we do it? I think because a lot of times, mothers, fathers, we like to always fix everything. So if we can teach them, as well as learning, not to be codependent, but teach them self-efficacy and to be sufficient for themselves.
I love that. That is absolute. You're looking at self. That's where it starts. That's how we do what we do. Why we got in this field. Something happened. So we look at ourselves. We mothers, we don't fix it. We don't fix it all. We got a purse to prove it. All right, good job. Who was the first person that raised their hand? I saw that one that helped me out over there. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a gift. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. You supported me. My colleagues supported me. So you know we all colleagues in here. You know we all interact in some way or another, right? So get to know each other. Look to the left and say hello. But I think we have to sitting by your phone. What if we got up and moved? No, not right now. I'm even convincing me not to do it. Should we get up and move? Who says no? Stop. My emotions are influencing you. I think maybe the last minutes when we have questions. No, I won't do it. That'd be hard. Who would it be hard for? Change. Because we asking our clients to do it, and you guys won't even do it. That's okay, though. That's okay. We in a training. We're getting to know each other. We're learning. I like that. I was like, humor. All right. So remember why we do what we do, and we can move forward. All right. Ooh, crisis is challenging. It's up to us to de-escalate, to stabilize, right? It's up to us to create safety. It's up to us to create safety. Intervention and prevention, right? Does everybody believe kind of safety is really important? Yeah, safety is really important. I know that I care about everybody in here, whether you know it or not. I want you to be safe. You know, kindness matters, the butterfly effect, the ripple effect, it's for a reason, right? So you all matter. If you smiling, then somebody else is smiling, you open the door, right? No flipping people off, my brother. You know, I was like, bro, no, don't do that. But she did deserve it. I ain't gonna lie. All right, so to prevent de-escalation, do we jump in and say, calm down? I see it a lot, though. I see that being said all the time. Calm down. I know there's a little say Carly B song about saying calm down. Don't tell me to calm down, right? So we listen, and sometimes we don't have to get everything because we can't be filled. You know, it's a lot, right? A lot coming at us. We're being kind of thrown up on. I hate to say it like that, but they're throwing up on us. All their problems from the past are being thrown up on us, right? So we're listening, but what are we working on while we're listening? What? Assessing. Absolutely. What else are we doing? Observing. What's that important thing that is like free? Right? Well, yeah, breathing, say it loud, say it loud. Breathing is so important. It helps us get through things. Working out, stress. It's beautiful. And it's free. Wow. Kindness. Free. My services. Medi-Cal billing. No. Not free. We know about that Medi-Cal billing at some places. So listen, when in doubt, listen. If something is going not, you either feeling it, because we're observing, so we're seeing them move closer. We're seeing them get their fists getting tighter, right? We're seeing that. So we listen, hey, what's going on? How you doing? And I'm exaggerating because I want them to move with me, right? And validate. Who knows how to validate and who loves validation? Validate me. Yay! We need that. See, validating. You know, hey, you're doing a good job. It's one-on-one parenting, catching them doing good. Because a lot of times we always got to address that unhelpful behavior, right? But what if we started not? What if we did a social experiment and for 1 week straight, maybe 3 days, I don't know, but you got to get on board. We got to work as a team. Oh, work as a team. Ooh. I'm going to let you ponder with that silence. Do we work as a team?
Yes. All day.
That's right. Do we like working as a team?
Yes.
Do we learn from each other? Do we all have different perspectives? Yes. Do we have to respect those just like we respect the clients and we don't judge them? Team players. It's a very individual business at times. We're always by ourselves a lot, but together, it's a miracle, right? Where's the Dream Center? Dream Team, right? Dream Team, that's right, the Dream Center. All right, so listen, validate. Would you like to be validated? Absolutely. Does anybody want to practice it? Because we ask our clients to role play with us, but when we are asked to do it, it's scary, huh? scary. So take that time to feel that right now. What you're feeling, they feel it multiple times, right? That empathy. Oh, hey, role play calling, your support system on your safety plan, when you want to hurt yourself. Let's role play that. Pick up the phone and dial. I'm asking you to role play validation. And how do you feel right now? It's uncomfortable, like get up and move, get out of your seat, right? So that empathy is really important. Listening is really important. A lot of what they're saying, they're not telling you. It's that underlining issues, just that attention, right? Attention is fun. I want it. I want the attention. And they'll grab it from you, especially when you ain't feeling right. You're acting different. You're in an urgency or you're focused on something else. All right. So listen, when in doubt, what do we do? Yay, listen, validate. All right. So the 3 steps are, who knows? No, don't raise your hand on this one. Oh, okay. Oh, I gotta wait because you might not get it. 3 steps.
Listen, validate, breathe.
Good job, but I meant the 3 steps before. Good job. Let's give her a minute. Let's give her a minute. The 3 steps to just escalating. I know now it's pressure.
Assess, safety, and support. That one?
You did. I'm not. She looked at her notes. That's good. That's good because we can't retain it all. I got them. I got notes. I got notes. Google it. Google it. We love Google, don't we? Danielle, how do you get to the bus station? Google it. How do I fix my marriage? Google it. How do I get paid? Give me your money. No. Just kidding, just kidding. I'll listen. So we're not tug-of-warring with the client, right? To create safety and to de-escalate something, we're not tug-of-warring. Calm down. We're not pulling back and forth, right? Force comes with force, right? So don't tug-of-war with the clients. I catch myself when I do. Awareness. You're not wrong if you can self-redirect because that's what we teach, right? These emotions are there for a reason. So when I start, no, you're wrong. Yeah, I was here. You weren't in that. Oh, there goes my breathing. I step back. I do my breathing because I'm not doing a tug of war. It's not worth it. It's not achieving anything, right? I'm coming with maybe some, pretty good body language, especially if they're out and about. We know about the body language. We know about our safety, right? So probably unsafe stance would be like with my feet together or my hands in my pocket. What do they say? Like have your foot out. I kind of, go so I can go that way, right? And I kind of bend my legs a little. They're not locked, right? And I'm starting to picture it a little bit like I ain't feeling you. I might have to go. And that's not a time to leave me, coworkers, when they're yelling at me. Don't tell me you'll be right back. Please don't do that. That happened the other day. I was like, don't leave me, please. But I was trying to keep my cool. But all the time I'm using empathy, right? That empathy that we just felt, they're mad. Let them be mad. Like, who cares, right? If I'm mad, am I going to be reasoning with you? Absolutely not. I'm not reasoning with you. I need you to listen. I'm mad. It's about me. I'm not in that stage yet, right? I'm not in that listening stage. Compassion. We got to give compassion. We might want to lean forward a little bit like, oh, right? How do you give that compassion? Well, you take time to think about how that feels to you. How do you want it, right? We give the respect. Respect is a big one. We get mad when we're disrespected. That's when all these feelings come up. So if a client feels disrespected, now sometimes they're not reasonable, right? Their culture, no matter who they are, is different than our culture. At M Street, there was, and I'm probably a lot of other places, I know it's a lot of fires, right? There are a lot of fires. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, well, being homeless, I probably would would start a lot of fires, right? So I want to get to the nitty gritty, like why? And so I talked to a couple of clients about it. Can't really remember what he said, but they cook with it. Is it always intentional? My son's friend is now a firefighter, so you know I got friends in all the right places, right? So you got to start learning. Find out where it comes from, right? And understand their culture, their way of doing things, and then we can not be judgmental and work on it, not fix it, but understand. Who knows the concept of true acceptance, radical acceptance? Who knows the paradox to that? What is radical acceptance in your own words? Radical acceptance. I'm accepting exactly who Danielle is, exactly who I am with all my imperfections.
They gotta be non-certain.
What is the key to that radical acceptance? What comes about when I radically accept what is? You're doing heroin. You're staying out late. You're not following the housing program. You're not getting your ID. You're not doing any of that.
You're not judging them for it, and you're sort of like, this is who you are, I'm meeting you where you're at.
Absolutely. Because true acceptance, change comes about. Well, if I accept it, I'm not going to change. That's where my mind goes.
It's accepting people where they're at, not where I think they should be at.
I like that. And look how far we came. I forget sometimes. I do forget. I really do forget where I came from. Let me look back for a minute. Just a minute. That's it, and I'm moving forward. I like that. Say it again.
Accepting people where they're at, not where I
Not where we think they should be at. I don't think you should litter. I don't think you should litter. I might say something like, oh, you dropped your paper. Maybe, when the time's right, if they're not yelling at me, right? A teaching moment. All right. Any thoughts and feelings? So radical acceptance is change. Odd. If I truly accept something, I can truly move on, because we're moving away from denial, right? We're moving away from things that are protecting us, our coat of armor, right? They treated me bad, so I'm gonna treat them bad, right? Oh, so they have control over you? Wow, you like that? Does that feel good? So it's a moment to teach. So when you're doing true radical acceptance, I think it's a DBT skill. Okay, let's talk about a skill. You got me, right? Did it work? Oh, let me get a drink while we're waiting. Yay! Back one. Forward one. You want me to try?
No, good.
No, it's the wrong one. Oh, it's missing it. Oh, no, you're right. My bad. That's right. Good looking. Good looking. I'm wrong. You're right. Thank you. Is it okay to admit I'm wrong? Yeah, well, I'm not in front of everybody up here. Oh, thank you for validating me. Conflicts can be really hard when we're de-escalating, because everything is rushing forward. They're not in the present moment. Everything is coming forward. Everything that happens, these triggers we talk about, oh, find your triggers. Well, we can find them, but doesn't mean we understand them. I know that, this pen is triggering me because I couldn't spell when I was in high school, right? But I don't know what's going on. Well, all those memories are rushing forward. So when the conflict is there, you're dealing with mood disruption, right? We're dealing with unsafety now. We're dealing with all that stuff. So the past is coming forward, feelings, thoughts, events, everything is coming forward. What do we do? What do we do? Okay, breathe. So what's your favorite skill to get people in the moment? Yes. The miracle question, solution focus. We're going to have 10 solutions to your problem. The miracle question is, off the top of my head, if you went to sleep, woke up, and everything was exactly how you want it to be, right? And then, so that's the way that they're talking about something else, right? They're getting out of their head, they're getting into a positive mode. What are some other ways to get in the moment? We did breathing, absolutely, yes. What? Validating, reflecting what they're saying. Oh, she's listening to me. She knows I'm mad because the bus left me, right? Oh, okay, all right, yes.
Support them and encourage them.
Support, okay, all right. So they're being triggered, and supporting them and encouraging them is a beautiful thing if you got an hour, right? If we got time, I do, because I sit for an hour in therapy, so I got that time, right? And we encourage them, and those are good skills. Those are very good skills, because we do have that time, and we should sometimes. That's the problem. We don't, right? And then nothing happened. We might have learned helplessness. Oh, just pick it up and put it in the park and go to the left, and you'll be there. We fixed it, right? What are some good ways of getting in the moment?
Down to the unconscious thing will mimic you.
We're going to talk about that. I like that. Ooh. I struggle with that. Yes, yes.
An intellectual tuning in, that's where you consider the factors that are influencing you to being effective with the client personally. And then intellectual tuning in is where you look at your ability to be able to assist the client, or you consider resources that may be available for you to plug the client into. And you do all of this prior to engaging, just so that you can actually be effective, have the most effective outcome.
Oh,
Effective in intellectual tuning in.
that's right. Conceptualize the whole thing before it even happened. Prepare it. I already know what's going to happen.
Gives them a chance to breathe.
Yeah, you're repeating it back. So there's ways to do it. You repeat exactly what they say. You have empathy. Well, all that must be painful. But if they say, no, it wasn't, you got to redirect. You got to be okay with that. You got to be like, oh, well, what does it mean? And that's a good time to get in there.
One of the things that I've learned with working with youth is that 9 times out of 10, the reason for the misbehavior, it will not make you angry. It'll just make you understand. So a lot of the time, just reminding them what they have control over, like what is it that's bothering you right now, and what can we control? What can we do about what you can't control and not what you can't.
I love it. I love it. Because that's all we can do. But that's something we should keep on doing. What do you have control over? What do we have control over? Because a lot of times, you know, when we have trauma and all that stuff, we don't have control over anything. But it's choices, right? Strengthen your choice muscle. If you don't have that, if you don't have control over it, strengthen that muscle. Let's label that. Let's name that, right? Labeling things is good because when we label it, they can work on it. They know it, right? So being in the present moment, and I think it's grounding. You're being in that moment, right? You're using your 5 senses to be in that moment. So when I'm dealing with conflict a lot, I start having them see things, you know, and you got to be kind of strategic, because if I say I like your gray shirt and he's telling me he just got hit by a car, he might, girl, you gotta get up away from me. I would, like, what you talking about my shirt for? So we have to be very mindful. Like that's the things you were saying back there of what we're saying, when to get in, where we fit in, right? But through that time, like, people are holding their fist tight and they're breathing, right? Well, what? You're holding your fist real tight. I don't tell them to untighten them, but they start being aware of it, right? Hey, how you doing? How's your breathing? How you feeling, right? They start becoming aware. Maybe saying, oh, I like that color, you know. You can start the 5 senses, right? Hey, you want to get a cup of water? Right? The sense, taste, what is it? Taste, taste, smell, sight, touch, and hear. The five on your face. Did you get that? Or you thought I was up here looking crazy? Did you get it? Taste, smell with your face. No. Maybe the younger people you can do that with. Yeah. So triggering, now we know what it is. Not just an item, not just a person, not what? Person, place, or thing? Person, place, or thing? It's more than that. It's our past, right? How do we get them in the moment? And that's a little bit of a solution focus, right? There's a time and a place to talk about 10 years ago. Oh, I got hit by a car. I hate this. I hate this. You know what I do? You know what I say? I say, when did that happen? They're like, a year ago? I'm like, a year ago? Oh, okay. Can we work on today? How about today? What's going on today, right? There's skills throughout it, but observing helps. When you observe, you know when you can come in and say, I like your shirt. You're holding your fist too tight. Doesn't look like you feel good. You want to breathe with me? What can you see right now? Because I'm really feeling that sky. Ooh, it's hot out here, right? All right. Oh, you did it already. Oh, no. Did we do that one already? No. Yeah, perfect. No, back. Did we? No, back. Can you go back one? Because that's what we were talking about, the mimicking. Do you want to share?
As their class they get, as part of their condition, whatever, they get real loud and disruptive. And I know one class I would just like start whispering, and then she would start whispering, and then everybody looked around like we were both crazy, and I'm like, yeah, I'm crazy. And then everybody started laughing, and then she's changed her mood.
Yeah. So when we're mad and I come in and I'm like, oh, you mad? Like, oh, that's fun. But wow, oh no, that's fun. You know, you're matching that. You're feeling them. You're creating rapport and trust. We like to be around people that look like us, that talk like us, that are relating to us. So if I can get you to relate to me, then the goal is to turn it around and then you relate to me, right? So I'm there, I'm with you, I'm feeling you, I'm expressing stuff, but at the same time I'm breathing and I'm guiding you, right? To the chair to sit down. Because if you're not going to sit down and you're on one, what am I going to do? I'm leaving. I like that though. You're right. I'm going to sit down and let you have your tantrum, and I'm going to sit right here. Okay, well, you have a good day. When you want to talk about it later? Because we can. Can we do that? Can we leave? Yeah. Can we leave? Yeah. Do we? Do we?
Yep.
Yeah? Good. Because that's self. And that's observing, that's assessing the situation. Remember, we're not talking about homicidal. We're not talking about suicidal, right? We're talking about conflict resolution. We've created safety. We created all that stuff. So when we're creating safety for the client and everybody around. Everybody likes to swarm towards the issue, right? But I see that Diana's already there. So I'm going to step back, right? And I'm going to say, hey, can you call 911 if needed? If not, hey, can you help get the other people away? Because if I have an audience, absolutely, and the audience is going to what? Hey, hell yeah. And that's where riots create, right? Right? A lot of times it's 2 of us and 20 of them. How many people are at Brendan? 2, right? Yeah, 220 people, 10, 20, I don't know how many staff.
On site at one time,
Yeah,
probably about 20
staff to
to 23.
ooh, M Street. How many clients? How many staff? Yeah, and not all on site at the same time. So I love to say, I know we're supposed to only control self. I love to control my environment. Because when you have trauma, You know, our internal bio makeup changes. We can't self-soothe all the time. So we look to the external, right? We look to the external. So M Street, Brundage, I don't know who else has facility that's inside a facility, right? But still, your work environment, we want to create a sense of safety. So if Susie comes to work every day mad and barking orders, that might not be doing that, right? So it's an ongoing, I love to control my environment. I like walkways to be walkable. I always say it takes that one time. I've been doing this for a while. I was in the prisons. I was at the facilities, right? I've been threatened quite a bit. I won't quit walk-in center. They got me. But when we control our environment, like he said, we're aware of what we're doing, the simple things of being by the door. Sometimes we're in a hurry and, oh, they ain't going to do anything. Well, I've done it. I let the client walk behind me. I'm walking because they walk in like, come on. So it's really important because the things that I've seen could have been stopped. I saw somebody getting attacked at Quick, and I saw it. I was helping somebody, and she walked out in front of her, and we already knew the client was disruptive, and I was like, ah. And then the security came, and I was like, Danielle, go. And I was like, no, you got to stay. She got attacked. I mean, not that I could have fixed it, but I saw, I could have, but, you can always see better from what? Yeah. And it's easier to see it from around, right? And that's why it's important for us to work together. It's not always what is, it's what's perceived, right? So when you get feedback, be open mind to it. I needed it on my journey. At first, I'm like, my shirt ain't too tight. Your shirt's tight. But then one day somebody told me, I want you to succeed. And I believed them. And that's what you guys are doing out there. And you guys are so important. I in this community, I've never really been, like somebody bought my coffee before or paid for stuff, but they're not out there helping me. Like when that car came behind me, or, it was my coworker, hey Brady, he brought my son his football gear, right? Because I was doing something else. We matter, you guys matter. So the mimicking technique is really important. It might be kind of hard. If we're compassionate and genuine, that's all that matters. They know we care. I don't have to prove to you I care. I have my pathway. I know where I'm going. I don't have to prove it to you. Oh, you don't like me. Oh, you feel that way? You feel that way? Tell me more. Let them talk it out. Then cut it off if you need to. All right. Any thoughts and feelings on any skills anybody wants to share? Because the heart's beating real fast. So we achieved calmness when they mimicked our behavior and we sat down. So now reason comes in because they're saying, oh, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to get kicked out. I don't want to lose my bed. I want to be safe, right? They're saying these things. So now there's some reason. So should we fix it? Now we can fix it. Yes, no, maybe so. We should fix it? No? Encourage them. I don't think we're already fixing it. We're already helping them. So fixing it, I don't think is our job. Yeah, but it's an ongoing technique.
My only suggestion to that perspective is that we're practitioners of social work, of social services. So, and that makes us in a certain regard like doctors in a way of service delivery. And I would say that we really need to focus on helping them navigate those barriers. So, maybe they do have some emotional regulation issues. Well, it's up to us to understand that and counter that, and that comes with that empowerment aspect, but also really taking out the time to deliver the services, maybe not being so under the gun for those reports that are due by the first, or the amount of volume of calls that you have. I believe that, the empathy, the empowerment It really comes from taking that true interest, and that's what's going to help them get over the hump as practitioners of these social services in Kern County. For all of us, that's what I think.
You're absolutely right. And that's where the team comes together. And then that's where, you know, a lot of times the case management, that's not in their scope. But like you said, the social worker, the therapist, I'm at the shelters. We're at the shelters now. We're at Open Door Network. You can reach out to us, right? And you can ask for our help because we need yours. If we don't know what you're going through, we can't take that extra time. So how do we work together? There was a client yesterday. She was, Diana, she was acting up. I was like, bring her to me. But she was so cool. She's like, it's my ego. It's my ego. Oh, you doing that? That's your ego. Okay. But it is. Why don't we work together? It has to be our ego, right? I'm not listening to you. It's my way. It's your way. It's what way. But, you know, you're right. You take that time, but we know when this isn't what we should be doing, right? That's why I went further in college. But it doesn't mean you have to. It doesn't make me better. But that's why I did it, to go into that, to sit down with them, to talk about that trauma, right? Not just to be solution focused. Okay, the solution is go to the park on Wednesdays every day. No. That's not, you know, I want to kind of dig into that, maybe go further back, right? So just like meds, you stopped your meds? I don't know if that's a good idea. Let's call doctor, right? Then they see the support system. Then they get a sense of support system. Hey, Susie, ask doctor. What am I doing when I ask her to do it? Because I would do it. I used to do it. I'm like, okay, I got it done. Here's your plan of action. Good plan of action. You weren't part of it, but it's a good plan of action, right? And I know when Open Door Network, when I worked there, the safety plan, we don't create. They need to create it. It's very important that they create their safety plan, right? Anybody, really. We can help and guide. Any thoughts, feelings? So working as a team means there's everybody here, right? Everybody. Like, we don't need cultural competency. I can go right over here and ask, how you doing? What are you doing today? What's going on with you? I went to LA. They teach us that it's, you know, go to the places. I was in Koreatown, right? I'm not like all that knowledgeable, but it was cool. You know, ate the food, kicked it, chilled. LA was fun. I was like, I want to live on the strip. No. Who likes LA? Yeah. I'm from the Bay. I'm gonna bang on whoever moves their hand. I saw that back there. I saw all y'all raising your hand. LA. No, I'm playing. We ain't doing that, right? That's what's funny, because like when I have clients, right? Oh, I ain't snitching. Oh, well, we ain't in snitch land. That's not the culture we create here. I don't know what that word is. Maybe if we out here, we can talk about that, but we ain't in here. So, and that's the time to teach, because our language, like, it took me a minute. I struggle too. My language skips a little best of me at times, right? But we just regroup, figure it out. You know, I'm not going to acknowledge the snitching. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to understand it. I'm not going to be judgmental, right? All right. Any thoughts and feelings? Because we all calm now. We all calm. Right, their emergency is not our emergency. Remember my son, his lunch, his emotions made it my issue. I remember the person back there, I forget who it was, about we're mothers, we're fathers, we like to fix things, right? So their emergency is not ours, but it is. Right? How do we stay in control of our thoughts and feelings? Step back, right? Remember, observe, literally step back from it. Ask for help. Now, this one, 911 mobile team, MET team, that's going towards the one thing we, you know, crisis in the suicidal, homicidal. But sometimes if that person violently did something, or it gets to that point, that is not our fault because we did everything we could. right? Then we might have to call 911. So I just took 5150 training. So I used to call the non-emergency number. No, call 911. I was like, I want to call 911 now. 911. So I don't know if you guys know that, but I did. I was like, oh, because I try to reduce crisis services, and sometimes that works against me because I try to fix it. So their emergency is not ours. How do we not do that? Because we're doing that every day. They're unsheltered. They're in domestic violence relationships. They've been abused. They need our help right now. They've got out of prison. I need you right now. Right, so keep them stable, right? But how do we, and that's good, and I kind of think about it, how do we do that at times? Like, we get people coming off the streets and that's what we deal with too, with that unpredictability, mental health, right? Our mental health, now add the drug abuse, now add the maladaptive behavior, and add all that stuff. How do we not have that? I'm gonna hand these out, or maybe I should wait till the ending, but I just got sidetracked, so I'm gonna hand them out. They are, I don't know if I have enough. Does everybody know the 988 suicide and crisis hotline?
Yeah.
Right? So this is where the prevention comes in. If we're not teaching it, if we're teaching learn helplessness, their emergency is our emergency, right? I'm not available after hours. Some people are, we do have it. M Street has it. I think Brundage has it. Kern Behavioral Health has certain places after hours. But if we're continually teaching and putting our foot down when they don't utilize the things to utilize to get them to where they are, how do we go between those two? A lot of times it's our uncomfortability. We don't want to say no, right? So we look inside, we look at that countertransference. I get it. When things remind me of my kids, I will go above and beyond. And I have to recognize it and I have to step away. And that kills me because, but not as much now. Now I know it creates trauma to me. If you're noticing you're over familiar, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at first. It becomes a bad thing. I don't want to say bad. I don't like to label things good or bad all the time, but it becomes something that starts creating trauma within ourselves and can get other things, you know, that the safety. There's no safety now when we become unfamiliar. I mean, over familiar, right? So what do we do in those situations? And guess what? The fun part, it's ongoing learning experience. I learn at every situation. I come in with my tools, right? I come in with my superpowers. Did we find out more superpowers? Because you guys are superheroes? Yay! So if you ever see me out there struggling, come save me. No, just playing. All right. All right. Any thoughts and feelings on that, how you find your balance? Because it's about you guys really right now to me. The clients, yes, but they're not here. Oh, I'm playing because I give 100. I give 110.
I have a perfect example of it. So I was doing a interview with a gentleman with one program at the mission at Kern County. In the middle of it, he had a full-on mental breakdown. I mean, to the point where he was saying, I want to commit suicide. He was standing up, you know, sitting down, standing up. And I was in the office all by myself with him. And so I just began to breathe and just begin to, you know, validate him. And the tone of my voice was very calm, and, you know, just, and then I was like, I gotta get him out, you know, I can't be alone, he's having a full on. So I was like, come on, buddy, let's go outside, okay, let's go outside. And I was able to take him, and we were able to call 911 and able to get him to Mary Kay Shell. And we were able to keep him right there, calm down, and have him sit down and just, you know, just keep him there until he got there. And so it worked out good, but I learned a lot of that in the training that we had last time. So it was a big help. So. Good.
Anybody else want to share? It's time to share what you've been through, and it's okay whether we all been through it or not. It's fun to share. It's nice to hear that we're not the only ones, you know?
So I had an
by the tenant that had, actually chased off one of his social workers with a gun.
Oh,
He, had spun the falls over, said, shoot if you see you. Anyway, I forgot that this was the same tenant, so I showed up at his house, and we're like, uh-oh, not supposed to. But he saw me, so he came outside. So I basically used what she said, a miracle. I said, okay, listen. In a perfect world, what's it gonna take to make you happy? Just tell me, what would you need to be content? So that actually does. Just
Right.
got to tell me everything he wanted.
and you didn't fix it.
No, he burned the unit down.
So I'm glad you reached out for help 911. You went to the PEC unit. Sounded like you didn't get any help. You did that independently. Right. And everybody we come in contact with that we work with, they're dealing with it too, right? We're all dealing with it, and how do we help each other? How do we help each other get through that, right? I don't know. Yeah.
You don't give input, sometimes it's just really.
I agree.
It brings that moment of calm. It's
Yeah.
breathing and just listening, validating, like, okay, I understand that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
They just let it out, and then you guys can have a reason.
Absolutely, absolutely. Time to share your thoughts and feelings on how to not allow those emergencies to be yours. And I saw you, right? No, who raised? Okay, good. I love it.
Just to reflect on how not to, I think it's for, of course, individual, slash client. But I heard something from one of my professors not long ago was, we're responsible to them, but not for them. And so how do we do that is, not just telling them, hey, there has to be boundaries. Well, what is a boundary?
Right.
So I'm going to walk alongside you and teach you what is a boundary, what your responsibility is, what mine is to you, but also educate them, like you said earlier, was educating them how to be accountable, responsible, and accountability, so they can grow in that. So overall, they can learn how to be self-sufficient in emergencies, and all of that. So,
Absolutely. So, what's your name?
Sandra,
Sandra had a shortcut. What did your professor say to you?
we're responsible to them, but not for them. And with that is setting boundaries and educating them what it is.
So we all have shortcuts, right? We all have these tools, but we all have shortcuts in life. We need them. Those things that maybe not, that are automatic. I'm not in that present moment, but responsible for ourselves too. Does anybody have a shortcut, a philosophy they go by? Besides breathe and be in the moment? You can just share your thoughts or a shortcut. I love shortcuts, love to hear them.
I just use self-talk if I'm in a situation, because like, it's so easy to get caught up in their emotions and their intense feelings, and it's good to validate them and encourage them and all that, but when it's in a high-risk situation like that, you just gotta like pull yourself back, reel yourself back in, and do self-talk and talk yourself through it.
Right, I love that. You're absolutely right. Self-talk, positive talk, reframing. We can talk ourselves to the dope man's house, or we can talk ourselves to AANA, right? That's what we teach them. We can talk ourselves to go to school, or we can talk ourselves to jail. I can talk myself and be mad at you when you're yelling at me. I can be like, or I can be like, oh, she must be going through it. Wow. I want her to succeed. So you're right, that's a good one. Anybody have some shortcuts over here? In the back. From the back, and now we're going up. No. Any thoughts up here, shortcuts? Yes.
So whenever I'm doing an intake and my client feels helpless, I kind of tell them, hey, you know what, I was homeless 5 years ago in your seat, and I have 5 years clean and sober now, and it can happen. And their eyes kind of get big, it's like, oh, it kind of helps out.
I love,
Right.
And then so we kind of recognize that not every emergency is a fire. So a client come in at a 10, and then sometimes, and they're just going all over the place, thinking that this is a dire need that they need, and then us just listening to them and then listening to them and then letting them know like, hey, it's not a 10, it's actually a 2. So it's showing them what their barriers are and then showing them how to get past it, but they're doing it on their own.
Yeah.
Problem solving.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And that's really good because it's their emotions projecting on you and you recognizing, like you said, your name, Erica's saying, you know, hey, you know it, but you're not projecting that on them yet. You're just kind of feeling it out, but we recognize that, and that takes time. Sometimes we don't, you know, but we can always self-redirect. And definitely sharing our story is important. It's different, and this is when teams come together, you know, and things are different and perspectives are different. I don't share mine at all, right? But I love when I have people on my team that do, because sometimes not sharing my story is like, you don't know. And I'm like, okay, but they do, right? Right? But I don't. Sometimes I'll share it. I might not always be 100% honest at certain circumstances just to get the, and I do it. I only share if it's beneficial to them, because then it becomes about me, and clients love that. Love it. I got one now. She just all in my mix, and I'm like, Danielle, you're so wonderful. I want to be just like you. I'm like, well, you know what? There's gonna be another one. All right. So, any shortcuts? Any shortcuts? I do it on sometimes really concrete and things I go right to. Yes.
One that I learned last semester was the empty chair technique.
Ooh.
I've used it twice, but that's where it's part of the thought therapy.
You want to take it? Yeah, go.
It's the empty chair technique. It's a part of the thought therapy. I learned it last semester, and it's where when a client is in crisis, you have them speak, say who kind of you already suggested, but they speak to the empty chair or whomever they're upset at. They speak to the chair because the person's really there. But you got to give a trigger warning with that one, because harm reduction, like, you don't know what emotions that's going to initiate for them. So you just kind of got to give them a warning, and also if that's where they're at emotionally before you do that one. But empty chair thing is the one I use.
And definitely we have a clinician in the house, right? That's well, you're working towards there. So that is definitely something that when we're looking at different perspectives, but we're looking at different theories. And all the stuff we're talking about today, when I first started out, I Googled it. I didn't know about positive talk, positive affirmations. Positive affirmations are amazing. I gave them to you guys, right? And what you were talking about, what we think. The past is over. This is a new day, one that I have never lived before. I stay in the now and enjoy each and every day. Wow, that could be my intent today. What's your intent today, right? What is your intent today? Look at your cards, you guys. What's your intent today? And if you didn't get one, I apologize. Do you want to go by that today? Right? Is it hard giving these little statements out when you're, just meeting somebody? Right? I give them out in the morning at Brundage, right? I give them out. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't have to buy, my stepmother gave me these. You don't have to buy those. You can write it down, hand it to them. It doesn't always have to be about what's your goals, right? What do you need today? Where's your ID? But sometimes we got to be like the father of my kids. It's about business. This is business. I'm like, get high features. Couldn't help it. I tried the filter. I use the filter. All right. So shortcuts, one that you live by, a saying you go by. God grant me the serenity. We might not want to use God, or we do.
I don't know if this is something that can be applied, but it's definitely something that I'm a manager, my tenants know. Respect is given. reciprocate it. So you give me respect, I give you respect. If you're disrespecting me, you can step out of my office and come back when your thoughts are collected, and I can listen to you. So you're not gonna disrespect.
I love that. You show people how you want to be treated.
Yes.
We show people how we want to be treated. That's where we're talking about the boundaries. The word, I forgot who said that. You mentioned boundaries. Very important, right? If I keep on saying yes to you, I'm showing you how I want to be treated. So any other things I can use to live by? Because I need it. I got both of you. I'm about to get schooled. I love it. Here you go, beautiful. Uh-huh.
I feel like we all encounter a lot of people in our day, like with work and then our daily life. I think just appreciating that you're meant to meet every single person you encounter.
Love that.
You're meant to have every single conversation that you have each day, either if it's for your benefit or the other person's. It's supposed to happen, and you just gotta appreciate it, even if it's a rough conversation with a client.
What's your name? Ricky. We're meant to meet today. Yay! Yay, Ricky. There you go.
I don't know that it's a shortcut per se, but I've learned, especially in the last couple of months, that sometimes crisis is very calm and hidden. I did a home visit and I'm like, oh, do you love your place? You know, it's super clean, it's this and that, but then I'm looking around and there's nothing. And then I look in the kitchen and her fridge is unplugged. And I said, hey, you know, and I was kind of hyped up.
Right.
You place, you house, you this,
Right.
and that, but she's had a fridge that hasn't worked for months because she doesn't want to lose her place and doesn't want to ask for help and doesn't want to, you know, assume that she broke it, she's going to lose her place. So she's went without a fridge for months. And so, and I turned around and looked at her and she's just paralyzed. And so I brought it down and I was like, I see a lot of fear and you can call a problem. And if you're afraid, you know, I can mediate for you for these things, but she's not the only one, you know, and I've had CV people just recently and it's not a crisis and maybe it should be. So sometimes looking through that thing where if it's freakishly calm,
Right.
is the crisis for some.
I like what you're saying. We use that word very often. I hear it a lot. Oh, I'm in crisis. You stubbed your toe. You're not in a crisis. But you're right. But some people are not, it doesn't show, like you said, or it doesn't have to turn into that trauma. It could just be a bad thing that happened. But that you were aware of, paid attention to, and noticed it and started matching her, probably calming down a little bit. And that's not bad. I'm like 20 decibels happy about something, and they're like, it's raining. That's not, and I'm like, no, I'm happy. Can I be happy too? So definitely respect the Open Door Network. I was there when it was Alliance Against Family Violence. Like, it was a stomping ground. It really helped me understand things, right? Love it. So salute you guys. Mwah. All right. Next one. All right, self-care, self-love, self-care, self-love, self-care, self-love. They used to tell me I know you said graduate program, you're in your program? Do they not teach self-love over and over, except they also teach it, no, that was BA, that was independent variable. They're always saying that. I'm like, why are they saying it? It's not until like this year, I was like, oh, ding, ding, ding. If I take care of myself, is that bad? Am I selfish? Am I like stuck up? Because why? Why am I not stuck up? Because oh yeah, I saw that and oh, she's about it.
You have to take care of yourself in order to be that person for your client or your kids or whoever you are. Or how do I word it? Whoever's in your life, whoever you're trying to assist, you have to make sure that you're okay in order to put yourself in a position where you're okay to help the person who is in a crisis, or whoever is going through something, and they're looking for you for affirmation.
Absolutely. So we're not supposed to be perfect. My dad taught, he was a supervisor for the licensed MSTs and the social workers, and he was their clinical supervisor, and they're all like, I can't do it. I was in a domestic violence relationship. I've been through it. You can do it. You can. That's where that self-love that matters. That's where you learn from it. That's why we do what we do, right? So you're absolutely right. But the self-love, now we're at a place in our lives where growth matters. The whole point of continuing those negative patterns, right? We can't expect our world to be a better place if we're not doing it, if the superheroes aren't doing it. You're the superheroes, right? So we grow, we're on growing, and that's self-love and self-care. I think the most important things so far are free, right? Breathing, self-love, self-care, unless, you know, the spa and all that other stuff, but self-love doesn't have to cost money, right? Caring about yourself doesn't have to cost money. So we're going to take a moment right now, because I know we've been sitting here a lot. I didn't even think I was going to be here this long. I was set up. All right. So everybody, so we know tension is in our body. What we think is what we feel, how we behave. How do we get this connected, right? With our clients. There's so much trauma within them. They're using drugs and alcohol to self-soothe. Porn, food, you know, we all have it. Shopping. You know, we're not better where we spend all our paycheck on shopping and they're using drugs. What, are we better than them? Sometimes you might feel that way, but we're not. It's just noticing it and letting go in the judge's self. And it goes back to the acceptance. So a lot of times that anger and that frustration and killing or the conflict, it's time to move the body. Definitely prevention is important. I do it at M Street. Brundage, sorry. We do stretching. We do stretching every Friday, right? So sometimes we're in the chair a lot. And so we're going to just sit here and we're going to take our left leg. And if it hurts, don't do it. But if it hurts a little bit, like a 7 or a 6, well, you good. And that's where your sympathetic breathing comes in. Breathe through it. You're okay. You don't have to get out of it. You don't have to fight. You don't have to run. You don't have to stop. Our body thinks, no, this hurts, stop. No, that's where the breathing, we breathe through it. So take your leg and you're going to make a 4. It's going to look like a 4. Okay, or everybody's moving out of their seat and changing. We got it. All right, and then just bend forward. That's all you're doing is bending forward. If you have issues, don't do it. We know our issues, but modify it. Modify it if you need to, right? Take your legs, open them up a little bit, and just bend forward a little bit, right? You know, push the table forward. That's got rollers. It's got rollers, right? And you're stretching and you're breathing, right? Take your right one. Do the same thing to it, right? And just feels good, huh? Feels good. So there's all types of things. When we're sitting in front, you know, this is our new life, right? In front of our phones. So, you know, throughout the day, you know, get up and do it. Do we? I even struggle with it. I struggle with to stop. But I like this one it's yin yoga. And yin yoga is the art of being still, not doing anything. So right now, we're exactly where we need to be. We don't have to think about anything else but right now. And it's hard. It's hard. It takes energy, just like jumping jacks, just like staying in that pose for like 2 minutes and balancing, not moving. Like when I'm in yin yoga and I have to stay there for so it's difficult. So be in that moment. Like be here. You don't have to be anywhere. There's nowhere you have to be right now. Does that feel good? Oh, that's hard to stay and just be here, right? How do I just be here? So I'm learning every day, like every day. But we have in yoga, we have a rope. And what I really liked was when you hold it and just you're sitting in the chair and you're lifting your arms, right? Your shoulders. You know, our neck hurts. Well, I learned it's connected to, you guys might know this, but I didn't, like, connected to our shoulders, right? So everything we do, like the system, like us, you know, the system of care, if we work as a system, right? If we let our body work as a system, if we take care of it as a system, so take those moments and work it out. Or not, your choice. Self-care debriefing. Oh, wait. Did I miss that? Oh, I must have turned it. Oh, wait. You got, where are we at? I know, because I gave somebody some. Okay, so where did I rip it out? See, that's what I get. So we're self-care. Okay, prices. Okay, so we did a lot. We did the self-care, and then you're next. Yay, I got volunteers. Okay, we talked about our favorite stuff. We talked about the self-talk, positive self-talk. You got your positive affirmations. Do we do it one time and we good? No. Do we? No? How often do we do it? Yeah. Muscle, I love it. Perfect. How did you like that breathing? Oh, I didn't like it. It sucked. I couldn't do it. How did you try it? Yeah, I did it last night. All right. So no, and that's what we want to teach before. It doesn't, just like eating an orange and not orange juice with extra sugar. You know, an orange takes a minute. It's a change of behavior. Their lifestyle, our lifestyle, it's kind of an important, we replace it with other things. If I have a bad habit, it's kind of probably a good idea. That's why the AA and NA community is so important. It's a fellowship. It's a change of life. It's a change of being. They have celebrating recovery, right? Exercise, hobbies, right? Not sitting in front of the TV, you know. Oh, I like sweets. Well, I've been going to the farmer's market for a month. Well, you know, that's not even on my mind all the time. We create who we are. We believe what we say. If I continue to say I like sweets, I'm gonna like sweets. That's where that self-talk comes in. I love water. I love being kind to people. If in doubt, go into your phone. I know, Google it. Positive affirmations for my kids, because I was gonna kill him when he death. He's starving to death. That's all I can think of all day. My baby's starving to death. Lay down. Ah. And he made his emergency. He always does. My kids always do. So I know anyway. So positive affirmations, grounding techniques, and whenever crisis, I do it throughout the crisis. I model it. What do you see? What do you do? What do you hear? You know, just take your time with that, however you want. And the imagery, right? So imagery, and then we'll go to the next slide after, or no, then you can talk. You guys can get another talk. Imagery. You can take your time as professionals, close your eyes, and see that conflict you dealt with or that conflict you're going to deal with it, right? And prepare for it. If you can see it, you can achieve it. They teach that in imagery, right? Breathing, they teach that it calms you down. It slows your thoughts and it just slows things down. Doesn't take anything away. We don't have brain damage. It just slows it down so you can interact and do something different. So imagery, if we see it, like maybe the conflict went bad. Not what we could have done, what we should have done, but maybe what we could have done better. So, you know, I take my time, close, and I'm debriefing in my own mind, right? And I didn't get a debrief at work. We know what debriefing is, right? Who said yes? What is that, Carl? Tell me what it is. Lord.
Debriefing is just reflecting on whatever event or challenge or crisis or whatever the case may be, just reflecting on it and see what could have been done, what could be done better next time, and the positives of whatever it was.
Absolutely. And that's where we have to work on our skill when, you know, my coworker was, well, why didn't you close the door? Well, you might tell me why I didn't close the door. Now I'm mad. Tell me why. But it's a time to debrief. It's a time to come together. How can we do this better, right? How can we work together to move forward to better? But, you know, it's always, you know, if we don't fail, we ain't doing nothing, right? That's simple. I don't know why that's so complex. Like, oh, I did a bad job. I failed. Well, that's the nature of life, right? I don't know why I've missed that at times. Like, oh, I didn't do it right. All right. So those techniques, self-care, self-love, debriefing, we create our culture. We do in our work environment. You believe that? Amen. But I see a lot of the opposite. I see kids running it. And don't get me wrong, they have the right to have their thoughts, feelings, and all that stuff. But a 5-year-old driving a car probably ain't the best thing, or, you know, driving me to the store, or, you know, getting my alcohol because I wrote a note. But we create our environment. And how do we do that? How do we do that? Maybe not talking about work stuff at lunch. Maybe taking a lunch. I just realized about that. It's really fun. An hour is like a long time, right? We create and I've always believed, oh, can you go to the next one? You know what? I keep on missing it because I pulled the page out. You guys. Oh, there we go. So we'll start with an emotional intelligence. We're going to stand up. And I believe you talked a little bit about this. I think you use different words, though. Stand up. And this is for us. We can teach it later, but if we don't do it, if we don't understand it, there's books on it, too.
Emotional intelligence, the ability to express and understand your emotions, as well as the emotions of others. This is important for conflict management because it prevents escalation. If you can effectively understand your opposition's emotions, easier to communicate with them without provoking them, and eliminate frustration and anger from the conflict. People will be more likely to focus on compromising if they are not distracted by their emotions.
A lot of stuff right there. Is anybody versed with emotional intelligence? I just say it, and I got it. I have emotional intelligence. And then we good. We move forward. So, you know, it goes back to recognizing self, right? What the emotions are going on, being able to self-regulate, not allowing the crisis to make you mad, not allowing, oh, I hate you, Danielle. Okay. Well, I'm glad you shared. When people at my job coworkers don't, well, maybe they do. When they tell me, I don't like you, you don't help me. Do I get defensive? Well, I used to. I used to be like, yeah, I do, I'm here. Now I'm like, oh, tell me, thank you. I really appreciate you told me that. If you didn't tell me that, it would have got worse. Then we wouldn't know how to fix it. We wouldn't know how to fix it together. Because this is a professional relationship. I use professional relationship when I talk to clients because if I say relationship to people that are maladaptive, they think I'm their girlfriend. I used to, oh, I like you, Danielle. Oh, you want a boyfriend? You don't come. But now I know that I got emotional intelligence. It was just hello, right? So when you're dealing with these clients, you're dealing with maladaptive. You're dealing with no boundaries. You're dealing with assault physically, emotionally, sexually, right? All that stuff matters. May I touch you? Or no touching at all, right? So when I talk to them, I say we create a professional relationship so they have clear understanding. And maybe address it when they don't, you know? And that's that conflict we don't want. That's why we let them break the rule, because we don't want that conflict. That's why we let them do it, because we don't want that conflict. Well, that's when we're looking at the danger is an opportunity. That conflict is an opportunity. And that's where we get our emotional regulations when we go and we speak to somebody and when we're talking to them. I know coming to Brundage new, I'm like, Diana, Diana's like, okay. Great emotional intelligence. Same with M Street when I started there. You too loud. They didn't do that to me. Only Brendan does that. I work on it every day. But I say that because I don't fully accept it. I'm like, I ain't loud. Hey! All right. That's all that matters. Love makes it free. It's free. Breathing, love, water can be free. Sometimes it's not. What? Kindness, stretching, exercise. You can go to the gym and stuff. That doesn't be free. That's not free, but you can do it. Because I don't think they didn't always have all this stuff. Okay, who has the second one? Can you pass that? Or pass that down, please. Do they know their emotions? I love you. That's what they knew when they were little, right? Or, yelling at you. So the emotions like, oh, girls, or I don't want to discriminate, but I've heard a lot of times like, oh, she likes to be hit. No, there's some dysfunction there, but sometimes if you look into deeper things, when my dad, I did that because I loved you, right? The boyfriend, I beat you up because I love you. It gets confusing at times. So we teach them to understand the emotion in a more healthier way. And we do a lot, there's DBT therapy, and there's DBT skills. That's like everything out here. Clinicians practice the therapy, other people practice skills, but clinicians practice the skills too, right? So it's a time to learn from each other and stuff like that. So does anybody know about DBT? If not, that's good. It's very, very good for personality disorders, right? People with personality disorders, very, 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 very good. We deal with them a lot, right? Personality disorders are antisocial, borderline personality disorders. Not that you have to, that's where you get the support from others to deal with it because they'll suck you dry, right? And you walked away and you're like, it's a really, really feeling you're wrong no matter what. No matter what you do, you're wrong. And they get you in that whirlwind and you keep on trying to be right or help. Right? Because that's that kindness we talk about, but great. You can always reach out for support if needed, right? One falls low, we all fall low. I believe that. All right. So we're almost getting there. I think I'm going to end. We'll see where you guys go, what you guys want to know. We'll kind of talk with each other, see what's going on, because we can chill because there's nowhere we got to be. There's nowhere we got to be. This is right here. This is right here. Okay. The next one. Remember, they know we care. They know we care. They know we care. We're going above and beyond by our actions. This kind of is my go-to for prevention when I'm in the facilities, when I'm with clients, when I'm working every day. And when she was reading the DBT, it was talking about being descriptive. Hey, you did a great job. Well, he just stole my wallet, right? And I didn't know. You didn't. Did you? Did you look and go, no, you didn't do? All right. See? So being descriptive about what they did, right? Because if we're being descriptive, then they know, because I don't know. How do we be descriptive? So I just went to who's going to be descriptive? I just went to the DMV and got my driver's license. Who's going to be descriptive for? That's not descriptive. Who can be descriptive for me? You want to promote that behavior. It wasn't a negative one. We want to be descriptive too when we want to change a behavior. Like, you walking into the female bathroom and you're not a female, you want to be descriptive. That is scary to people. It freaks people out. Whatever you want to do, you want to, maybe that wasn't a good example. I don't know why I use that as an example, because kind of, I don't know why I use that one, but you want to be descriptive so we know. Because I don't know unless you're descriptive. Go clean your room. Well, I'm just pushing the clothes under my bed. I like piles. Medium, clean, not just clean, right? So when you want to be more descriptive. So if a client went and got their driver's license, how can you be descriptive? Yes.
Saying you took the time to walk over there, get in line and wait to be called and speak to the person at the counter and go over your voucher,
Yes.
voucher and, all that pretty much, you know, to have a receipt that you're gonna get an ID.
Absolutely. Being descriptive on doing good. That's what we want to do more of. Only time I really be descriptive on the negative is when they're going to get exited or jail or, you know, we're working on that maybe in therapy or something, but I want to catch them doing good. Wow, you got up at 8 o'clock in the morning to do that? I am impressed. You look wonderful today. I love that yellow shirt on you. Wow, and your smile. You just doing it today. You positive. You went to the DMV. You got on that bus? Wow. Right? You're really kind of putting on it. Because it'd make me happy. Yeah, I did that. Yes, I did. Right? All right. So we're being descriptive. And then we're stating facts. You know, the fact is you got to be in A. The fact is if you don't get your ID, you're going to be, you know, you're not going to get a job. We're stating facts. We're stating rules. We're saying no. I hated no. Because I wanted a yes. So what helped me, this was my level technique, you may not. You may not. That's like, when the first person said you may not, I was like, I didn't know how to try to manipulate that one. I was like, I may not. Wait, tell me no. Tell me no so I can try to get to you to say yes. Stating the policies and rules. I think that's difficult. I think that's difficult to do. I don't know if we do a lot of that. I don't know, like, the value of that, but it helped me. Like, in prison, working in there, it was hard to say, sit down, you can't go to the bathroom to somebody that just killed somebody, right? I'm like, oh, God, right? So I have to know why these rules are important, because I want to break them personally. I want to go the speed limit. I don't want to do any of that. Well, now I do, because I got a license, and, you know, having that, I don't want to lose it. I put energy into it. Right? But we're dealing with people that you know, they don't necessarily want to be angry all the time. I don't think the average person wants to hate and be angry and not be calm all the time. I just don't think they know how to get there, right? So why are they important? Why are they important? Figure out why they are important to you and have that go-to. I always use the driving, you know, to go to when I'm doing policies and procedures, right? I want to drive 65 and they want to drive 100. What? They want to go left on a red, I want to go right on a red. Like, so it's important. It reduces chaos. It helps us work together. It's needed, right? And then maybe get them to realize why rules are important. Well, what do you think? It's not us talking. I know I want to talk minimal and listen. You know, let them talk. Why are they important to you, right? I used to not think discipline was a good word, didn't think structure was a good word, rules. I like them now. Does anybody get a little, when they hear that? No? Am I odd? You guys don't trip off rules by being told what to do?
Yeah. You're just different.
Oh, damn, I might be. I get a little pissed, like even when, like, you know, I'm in the car, so park there. Oh, hell, now I'm definitely not. And it's a great parking too. It's like perfect parking. Like, no, I'm parking over here, right? So it's a skill, you know, it is. We have choices, discipline. Discipline is a beautiful thing, definitely a time to learn. Our clients, I know in my journey, structure was very important because I did what I wanted, how I wanted to do it, when I wanted to do it, and then I got structured. I did, and it was nice. And a lot of times when we out and about, even with mental health, structure is really good. That's why when they come out of facilities, they're like, oh, wow, who are you? Right? They're talking to you. Because they have that structure that they didn't have. Getting up at 8 or whenever they want to get up. They're going to bed whenever they want to go to bed, right? So how do we apply these things? How do we teach these things? Who likes rules? I know Keith does. I definitely know. I ain't mad at it though. I've learned from the opposite. Did you raise your hand? Yay, she's a rule breaker. I already know it. No. Oh, you don't? You don't? Yay. Perfect. I love that. I love that. And she said a beautiful word. Is balance free? Is it free? Balance? You gonna charge me for some balance in my life? Well, unless I get somebody to help me with it, but balance is free. Sometimes I just balance and I'm like, okay, I'm balanced. I got it. Let's go. Just balance. Too much of anything isn't good. Is that true? Can we have too much of something? Wait, I think balance is very important. Yeah? Oh, no. Okay. All right. You weren't talking to me, right? You were talking over there? Did you have something to say? No? Oh. No. Okay. All right. So fair, firm, and consistent. Be fair, firm, and consistent. It's a 101, but it's difficult. Fair, firm, and consistent. Is it difficult? Because I like you better. Don't be unfair. I like you. You can have that. You can have that. You can't have that. I'm gonna give you a little bit extra time, and you're gonna see it, right? You're gonna see all that. We do it. Don't be mad at it. The only thing we can start doing is, I love that. I do. I come and mess it up. Oh, mess it up. I do that. I lean on it. It was Adam. I lean on his computer. He's like, get off my computer. Okay. So fair, firm, and consistent. It's, just be aware of it. I'm not perfect. That's our fun thing. Failing, we learn from it. All the things that are so bad, let's switch it up and make it good, right? Except we want to follow the rules, right? But right now we don't have anything to do. This is to be here, right? That's it. All right. Oh, I lost my clicker. Any thoughts and feelings? Oh, no, sorry. The lighter needs to continue. Absolutely. Oh. So you will continue to suffer if you have an emotional reaction to everything that is said to you. Oh. Is that my video? Is it? Oh. It worked. Thank you for helping me.
We enjoyed that. That was good.
I think we're gonna take a short break and we'll be back here in about 10 minutes or so, all right? So the students in the back, come on in and grab a seat. We're gonna go ahead and get started with our second and last session of the day. And then you will be dismissed. And, just a couple of things. Coming up, so we won't have a session in June, but we'll be back in July. And we'll be back July 25th, all right, July 27th, that is. And that will be domestic violence training.
Open Door Network will be back to teach that. And then we'll have a session on fair housing from Greater Bakersfield Legal Assistance, the GBLA. And then, a topic called mainstream benefits that DHS will teach us. So those are all some great things. Remember this, the CoC, we put together these 16 topics that everybody kind of needs to know or have a little working knowledge. Anybody who works in the field of serving, people that we serve on a daily basis. And, right now we're gonna have our second last session on progressive engagement. And we just had a little bit about the speakers. Manuel Vieira, he's the Assistant Program Manager for Street Outreach at Flood Ministries. Anybody here from Flood? All right. Anybody meet anybody from Flood? We all know Flood, right? So, and, Manuel has experience working with the unsheltered population for almost 6 years. Before coming to Flood, Manuel was a case manager at another local homeless provider. Manuel has served in the U.S. Army. All right, give a hand for that. Has a master's degree in psychology from CSUB. He also has lived experience with homelessness and has a deep passion for helping people that are struggling with issues associated with homelessness. Recently, he has been the chair of our point in time count, or the pit count. Anybody participate in the pit count? All right. Ryan did a great job with that this last year, and he's excited to teach. And then joining him, also works with Flood, is Scott McCardle. He is the lead outreach service coordinator at Flood, with 15 years of experience in substance abuse, mental health, and homeless services. And so without any further ado, let's welcome Scott and Manuel from Flood.
And thank you, Steve. Thank you for the nice introductions, and thank you everyone for being here. So I'm going to go over progressive engagement. And before I start, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Flood Ministries and what we're doing out there. You know, we have contracts with current behavioral health. We try to get individuals linked to mental health and substance abuse services. We're also work hand in hand with our code enforcement teams out there, clearing parks and keeping parks safe. And we're there as a safety net for those individuals that they encounter. We're also working on the riverbeds. We have teams working on the riverbed. You know, the water levels went up and a lot of those individuals have moved out. So we're working with them. Here at Flood, we are also working in the metro areas and also rural areas. So we're in Ridgecrest, Boron, Delano, Taft, Lake Isabella, everywhere, Arvin, Lamont, Delano. And we also have our ANC and DNC, our Arvin Navigation Centers and our Delano Navigation Drop-In Centers. So we're also doing that. And we also have our housing case manager department. So we're doing a little bit of everything. So hopefully this presentation could touch on a lot of those topics or a lot of those issues. So let's go ahead and get started. So progressive engagement, making a little go a long way. So what is progressive engagement? Progressive engagement is an approach to helping individuals or households in their homelessness as rapidly as possible, despite barriers with minimal financial help and resources. Some of the key principles to progressive engagement is that it's flexible, that it's targeted, and that it's efficient. So being flexible in progressive engagement recognizes that each household's strength and needs change over time and resources change over time. So you may notice that sometimes there are a lot of vouchers and sometimes there's not, and vice versa. So resources change over time. So communication is key. You may want to ask yourself when you're working with your client, you know, what kind of progress is being made and what setbacks have they experienced? What changes in their journey might impact their level of need at this time? So being flexible, being able to adapt to the client's needs at any given time, okay? Another principle of progressive engagement is that it's targeted assistance, and it recognizes that each person experiencing homelessness faces different needs and obstacles. A progressive engagement approach targets resources to each person's needs and steps up support as different needs arise. like the illustration, the obstacles, everyone's different. So everybody has a different set of stairs to climb. And it's efficient, meaning that it ensures that the most intensive and costly resources remain available for those with the greatest needs. Yes, one option may be a rent subsidy for an individual, or another may be a homeward bound program, be reunified with friends or families in another town. Maybe being helped getting caught up on their utility bills, or maybe getting somebody an EBT card so they can fall back into good graces, maybe of a place where they've been exited. So right now we're going to watch a 1-minute video that can kind of explain that. We'll just watch the video.
Consider the following example. A young woman has been living with her cousin, but not paying for any of the food. The cousin becomes frustrated because she can no longer afford the grocery bill and asks her to leave. The young woman then finds herself at intake at a homeless shelter. Rather than immediately putting the young woman on a wait list for housing, the provider starts their interaction with problem solving. During the discussion, it becomes clear that the young woman qualifies for SNAP assistance, formerly known as food stamps, but is not receiving it. Knowing that this assistance will allow the young woman to contribute to her cousin's monthly food costs, the provider has found a quick and relatively low-cost solution to the woman's housing crisis. The provider has successfully demonstrated the skill of targeted assistance, using minimal resources which will allow him to help more individuals in the long run. By taking the time to have a meaningful discussion with the young woman, he was able to find a solution that allowed her to stay in her housing, while keeping a housing voucher available for someone else who might really need it.
Okay, so you may see in this example, it was a shelter, but it could be any access point. It could be at our Arvin Navigation Center where individuals come there and they may have a wide array of different housing crises. And so they have to be able to have that meaningful conversation. And another thing to keep in mind with progressive engagement is that we want to avoid false assumptions. Progressive engagement recognizes that there's no way to accurately predict how much help someone may need to end their homelessness. Not everyone wants or needs intensive resources. People who initially appear to need more may end up needing less, and vice versa. Progressive engagement should not be viewed as a one-size-fits-all approach. Okay? Remember in the beginning, we talked about how you have to be flexible with the resources that are available. So, yeah. Another thing to keep in mind when working with the progressive engagement is equality versus equity. Equality is treating every individual in the same manner, no matter their circumstances, and that's like a same size benefit. Thinking that everybody is appropriate for a permanent supportive housing voucher when there may be another solution that could have been implemented before a permanent supportive housing voucher was even offered, if it's even offered at all. Okay, so the analogy here is they're watching a baseball game, right? So they're looking over a fence and they're trying to watch a baseball game. And you may notice that two of the individuals, if they're giving the same size benefit, one box each, two people still can't see, but one person can. Whereas in equity, which is fairness and providing everyone what they need to be successful, catering to individual needs. So if everybody was given one box and two people still can't see, one person can see, as they end up practicing fairness and giving maybe this person 2 boxes, now this person can see over the fence. Give this person 1 box and this person can see over the fence. This person really didn't need a box from the get-go to see over the fence. So that's where equality versus equity. I know a lot of us in the homeless service provider world, we would like our clients to get a permanent supportive housing voucher, but maybe that's not what they need. Maybe they need something different. Maybe it's a different program. Maybe it's diversion. Maybe it's rapid. So once again, it's that same little diagram. Okay. So why progressive engagement? It's about critical thinking and shared problem solving. It's about housing first. It means more It means people in need don't need to wait as long to be assisted, and it allows us to serve more people. Okay. So how does it work? Begin with meaningful conversation about the individual situation and possible diversion ideas. Notice diversion is underlined. Okay. Encourage people to use their resourcefulness and ingenuity to develop solutions. So by having that meaningful conversation, you can understand what resources they may have. It may not be financial, but there may be a family member that's interested in being reunited with that person again. So that's where that meaningful conversation is. What resources do you have? Which family members, which support do you have? And we also like to use a light touch approach at first in order to provide people the opportunity to demonstrate their own resilience and solve their homelessness using their own resources. That's happened to us here at Flood many times, where somebody comes in and it's a simple diversion. They just need to be reconnected to family members somewhere else where they got stranded over here. So we use our own resourcefulness. And it gives people the opportunity to demonstrate what they know how to do rather than assume they know how to do nothing. And we add support when we add more support when it's demonstrated that more support is needed. Scott will give you some examples here and how we do that with street outreach and how we our method at getting our clients to get vital docs. Okay, so that will be coming soon. So diversion first. Diversion is about helping households find a safe alternative to entering CES and the homeless system. It's about problem solving and then being flexible enough to find the resources to put that solution into action. So some keys of diversion. If a person can end their own homelessness, they should be empowered to do so before intensive services are provided. Okay. We like to use a direct communication, discuss issues that are related to their housing crisis, discuss ways they may be able to resolve their housing crisis through guidance rather than intervention. Okay. Some more on diversion. Once a family or individual comes in contact with an access point or a street outreach worker, some questions to consider are, where did they sleep last night? What other housing options do they have for the next few days or weeks? What resources do they have right now that could help them find a place temporarily or permanently? And what is making it hard for them to find permanent housing? And what are some barriers? So these are some questions that we're asking at the diversion stage of our interactions with trying to problem solve their housing crisis. So remember, use open-ended questions, be creative and think outside the box, and reach out to other agencies to see what they have to offer. Once again, here at Flood, we have a Homeward Bound program. So if you have a friend or family, or if you have a client that wants to be reunited with a friend or family, all they have to do is reach out to Flood and we can buy them a bus ticket back to their friends or families. All we have to do is verify that they have a place to stay once they go to that town. Okay, so if diversion is unsuccessful, then we proceed with our program enrollment. So this is all part of progressive engagement, right? Okay, we're going to talk about the coordinated entry system because that's all part of the progressive engagement as well. I took some bullet points from Rebecca's presentation, but this is a really simplified version. You know, a coordinated entry system is about housing first. It has access points and assessment points, and it uses the BI-SPDAT as an assessment tool. The BI-SPDAT moves away from the first come, first served approach, and its objective approach is to assessing an individual's needs. So it's an objective approach to assessing an individual's needs. And it helps guide the right household to the right support. That sounds targeted to me. That sounds like a progressive engagement, a principle where it's targeted, where we're trying to help guide that right resource or that right household to the right support or resource. And it helps prioritize who gets served next, right? Also part of the coordinated entry system is its prioritization list and its matching process. So all that's part of progressive engagement and it's targeted assistance. So if you're having a hard time trying to determine what level of service you should offer your client, and it really depends on their level of need, right? So a VI SPDAT is a good place to start. You know, everyone gets assessed using a common tool or VI SPDAT, and a higher score usually indicates a higher level of need, and a brief but meaningful conversation can help confirm that level of need, okay? So we're gonna break down some of the level of how our CoC views level of needs, right? So a low level of need, maybe somebody who scores a 0 to a 3 on a SPDAT, and those individuals generally receive the lightest touch possible. Brief financial assistance, maybe a shallow subsidy, assistance with SNAP or Social Security, and help with their immediate needs. So something very short term, and it's usually just helping with that family with the SNAP or gain income. And that's low level of need. A moderate level of need is somebody who scores maybe between a 4 and a 7 on their SPDAT. And those are good candidates for the rapid rehousing, short-term actionable goals, and they reassess about every 3 or 4 months. And those clients who score between a 4 and 7 is good for rapid rehousing. Now, somebody who scores maybe a little bit higher, they say at 9 or above, those individuals usually need more intensive care and are good candidates for permanent supportive housing, which includes a higher level of case management, wraparound support. Case managers reassess the client situation to see if more or less services required, maybe connecting them to those mainstream services as well. So if you're having a hard time, so remember, progressive engagement is about being flexible enough to match the service of the level of service to the level of need, okay? So that.
Morning, everybody. Oh, forgot about that. Beer might get in the way. First of all, my name is Scott McCardle. I am the lead outreach service coordinator for Flood Ministries. So I'm kind of the head of our training there, but I also field a lot of the phone calls coming in. We get calls from BPD, code enforcement, people who are city council, you know, wanting to tell us where encampments are when usually we know where they're at already. But we follow up to all those calls that come through. I think some months we're up to almost about 1,000 different responses a month between all the calls that we get and trying to service clients who are already enrolled with us. I want to give a big shout out to Danielle. What an amazing job. Let's give a round of applause. Proof again that dynamite comes in small packages, ladies and gentlemen. And to Steve and everyone else who has been involved in this, CoC University, coming together and providing these classes for all of you. You know, it's one thing to be sitting in my office thinking about all the different people that are servicing this community, but to actually be here and to see all your faces, it's really kind of overwhelming, and my heart wants to do a little backflip. So from the bottom of my heart, and from everyone at Flood Ministries, I want to give you a thank you for waking up every day and making the decision to come and try and service those who are trying to access needs, and those who are experiencing homelessness, mental illness, drug addiction. We all know what's going on out there. So thank you very much, and give yourself a round of applause, please. So, street outreach. I'm very, very passionate about it. I absolutely love our teams. Sometimes I jokingly say, I think all of you have seen the flood vans and the vehicles. We need the flashing turquoise lights on top because, and this is
actual example. We've gotten a phone call before saying, hey, there's a lady on the corner of so-and-so. She's not wearing any clothes and she's rubbing toothpaste all over her body. Can you guys come out? And yeah, sure, no problem. You know, what can it hurt? But we go out there and we're trying to provide that original assessment on a lot of situations like that, okay? Sometimes like what Danielle was sharing about earlier, we're just trying to bring someone down to a level to where we can actually find out what's going on and see what access point is going to be appropriate for them, what service is going to be appropriate for them, okay? There's a big misconception about flood. I always like to ask new hires when they come in saying, okay, what do you think flood does? And it's like, oh, you know, you guys hand out burritos and sing praise songs, and you know, that's not what happens. Not that we don't, you know, that's not the primary, okay? Some people, if you ask them, well, flood will get you housed. No, we will not. We don't walk around the community with vouchers in our back pocket, okay? We are first and foremost a referral agency, okay? We refer people to services. We can refer you to services that will get you closer to possibly getting housed. We will assist you in getting those vital documents and referrals to other agencies, but we ourselves don't print the vouchers and hand them out. And it's really amazing, you guys. I wish I had a dry erase board. Manny and I both like drawing stuff out. When I write down all of the different resources and all of the different linkage points that there are to this community, it is absolutely amazing to see that roadmap and see those services that are available. So at any point in time, if I can be of service to any of you, because I know if you're new to a particular entity or you're new to a particular position at that entity, if you have questions about outreach or even the navigation centers, because we are one of the major referral sources for both the navigation centers. We refer people to Mission Open Door as well. Feel free to call and ask questions. I absolutely love that. I love collaborating. I love trying to provide information. So just call and ask for Scott or the Beard if you can't remember my first name. So street outreach. We recognize that each individual household has a unique story, okay? We see a lot of commonalities amongst our homeless population, I think, as you well know. But we also see some situations where I can give you a real quick example. You know, we had a gentleman who showed up at our office and he said, man, I don't know what to do. My girl just kicked me out. I don't have anywhere to go. And so we sat down and just started having a little talk, and I found out he was actually employed. And I said, so, you know, if you had somewhere where you could just stay for a little bit and save up that money, do you think you'd be able to take care of it on your own? He said, most definitely. So we were able to set him up with one of the shelters, and he moved on and was able to take care of that on his own, you know? So it was a matter of taking that bit of time, getting that information from him, and then trying to see what would be the most appropriate linkage for him. Every individual, every household has a unique set of circumstances and different needs. We build rapport and establish a trusting relationship. That is absolutely key. That's something that we almost call our pre-engagement phase. There are plenty of people that we provide service to, but they're not actually enrolled with us. We call them our guests. Those are those individuals that for whatever reason, they're a little hesitant to engage with us, but we're still going out there because we do get the calls from code enforcement. A lot of the time, what they tell the badge that is present totally changes once that badge leaves. A lot of times they will either tell the officer or the code enforcement officer, oh yeah, I want shelter. Oh yeah, I want services. And then when we show up, they're just like, yeah, just leave me alone. But we are still going out there, making that presence and trying to build a relationship, because more than likely we're going to see them again. Okay. And there have been plenty of times, you guys, where it could be our fourth or fifth time we have showed up to talk to that same individual. And I've heard them before say, man, I'm tired of code enforcement pushing me around. Get me in the shelter, please. Can we do it today? I'm tired of this. Okay, I always jokingly say flood shows up no matter what. You can curse us today, tell us we're stealing money from the community. I mean, we get everything. I'm sure you guys do too. But we're still going to come back tomorrow, and we're still going to come back with a smile on our face saying, how can we serve you today? Okay. And they're deserving of that, right? They're going through the trauma. I'm not. I got a place to go rest my head every night so I can get the energy to come back tomorrow and do it again. All right. So what can we do in street outreach to keep people from entering CES? Okay, because like we were talking about before, and we have all seen it, resources change all the time, you guys. And right now, you know, I haven't seen a lot of matches to rapid rehousing or anything like that, and that's been a very powerful tool for us. So now we're kind of having to shift gears and really, really start from the beginning, learning that story, okay? Oops, sorry about that. I'm not a good clicker, obviously. Because the story evolves all the time. When we show up that first time, they're not necessarily ready to share their entire life story with us, right? First of all, they're just like, okay, I've seen these, you know, turquoise shirted people all over the place. What are they even about? And we're trying to ask them some personal information, and maybe they're not as forthcoming from the beginning. So it's going to take a few times for us to build that relationship with them. I had a perfect example of, I think we've already been working with this gentleman for about, I don't know, 3 months or so. And we were like, hey man, we got to get these documents signed for you. Where are you going to be at today? And he said, well, I'm going to be over at this spot for, you know, the next 2 hours because, you know, my sister's showing up and she's got some money for me. Sister? And she's willing to give you money? That does not sound like a bridge that has been burned. So that was the first time we had even heard about that. For whatever reason, through the initial questioning, that didn't even come up. So that was a perfect opportunity for us to just kind of say, hey, you know, how can we assist you? What services can we provide for you where maybe you could foster that relationship with your sister or the rest of your family and get to a point where maybe they're going to be willing to help you out as well. Okay, so if that family is there and they're still willing to support, that can be a very valuable tool. All right. So what can we do to resolve your current crisis? That is diversion. I know for a while there, it was awesome that we had the shelter diversion funding, and hopefully some of that's going to come back. So that was, you know, the one-time assistance where, oh, hey, you know, maybe your car broke down. Let's see if we can get that fixed for you so you can get to work and make that income to pay those bills. We had a situation with a woman who she was homeless, but she inherited her mom's property, but there are a couple $1,000s in utility arrears. So with that program, we were able to get those taken care of, and then she was actually able to move into that property she inherited. So it's all different situations, right? And it's just a matter of us coming together and doing this, you guys, on a more constant basis, so we can educate each other and lift each other up so we're all aware of all the services out there, okay? And just become like social service ninjas, you know, we're just ready to strike at any time. So one thing that is definitely close to my heart is the Homeward Bound program, okay? We get plenty of calls for that. I think we really started getting rolling on that in March of last year. And since then, so that's about 14 months or so. I think we're upward to about 70 people that we've reunited with family or friends in other communities. And that's just awesome. And some of the responses that we've gotten back, you guys, have just been heart melting. You know, one woman was just, she was in really bad physical health out on the streets here in Kern County. And she was actually able to get back to her sister, and her sister became her in-house service provider, okay, and was tending to those needs that she needed. So if we can make it happen, we will. We just need, like Manny was saying, we just need a confirmation from whoever's going to be receiving them. Okay, and I usually do that through email. So if you have any client who might qualify for this, feel free to call Flood, ask for Scott, and I'm gonna try and make that happen. We also will get them a Visa gift card that they can use on their journey for meals. Okay, because we don't want them having to think about that or any other incidentals really that they want to use it for, okay? And hopefully that's going to continue. We do that for the city and the county, okay? Or support for crisis resolution if possible before entering the system. I might be jumping ahead of myself, but the two major factors that are going to keep someone from maintaining housing once they get it are substance abuse and mental illness, okay? I think the stats are there to prove that, okay? So from the very beginning, you guys, that's something that we're trying to take a look at. And if the individual is willing, we want to get them set up with those services. So by the time we get to the finish line, we're already getting them matched to a voucher. You know, they already have those services in place. They're already going to classes, they're working a program or whatever. So that's something that we're trying to do from the very beginning. Any other crisis that might be going on, we're doing our best to plug them in to the different resources in the community that would help resolve that, okay? I'm good for the next one, buddy. So street outreach assists with vital documents such as ID, social security card, birth certificate, and disability cert, or like getting them a awards letter from Social Security if they're already getting income. Those are all the documents we're wanting to get in place as soon as possible. So if the magic happens and they are appropriate for a housing voucher and happen to get matched, we just have that ready to go. We've had it before where someone's gotten matched and that wasn't in place yet, and that just creates a nightmare for everybody running around trying to get it, including and first and foremost the client. Client sitting there, well, I got a voucher, why can't I move in? And we're saying, well, wait a second, we gotta get all this stuff for you. So at first, outreach uses a light touch when assisting people with vital documents, but steps up the assistance as needed. So what we mean by that, one of the things that we're really trying to do is empower the individual, okay? So we give them those opportunities and we educate them on those opportunities. So we have found that doing outreach, that ID voucher is a very, very powerful tool. Because if it's our first encounter with that person, we can say, hey, you need your ID? Awesome. Here's that voucher. I need you to get to the DMV and make this happen. Okay, and that says a lot to us about where that person is because, and we get it mailed to our office because they don't have an address. And when it shows up, we're like, awesome, cha-ching, let's get right back out there to so-and-so and get moving on to the next step, okay? I have seen some case notes where, you know, it's maybe the third time we have arrived at the person's encampment to take them to the DMV, and they have told us, well, I'm busy today. And it's just kind of like, busy doing what? You know? So, but that allows us, by documenting all that stuff, to sit down with that individual and saying, hey, where are we really at with this? You know, what is really going on? What's the real barrier here? And try and have those conversations with the individual to reveal more of the situation. So once again, we can appropriately link them to the right services. You know, maybe we're just showing up after they took their dose that morning and, you know, they don't want to ruin their high. They're like, I don't want to ride around the van with you guys. I just want to kick it. Leave me alone, you know? But then there are individuals too that some of our clients, they can't even get on a bus on their own. They get so anxious that they need us to come alongside them and guide them there. And we're more than willing to do that, okay? I always try and remind outreach that unfortunately, yeah, we have hearts that are this big, right? We want to do everything for everyone, but we have to be mindful of the actual resources that we have. There's only so many of us to go around. So we have to be mindful of the time that we spend with each client as well, okay? Because there are some clients that are going to need that. I mean, you know, some of the clients we work with, we show up and next thing you know, it's been a 2-hour visit. You know, and then we have those other clients where we show up and we just say, hey, how's it going with that? And they're already on and off to the next objective. So always gauging and trying to do our best to not enable the client, but provide the proper support. That's how we make our little go a long way at Flood. So we also assist with connection to mainstream services in the community. Like I was talking to you guys earlier, the two main factors that'll keep them from maintaining housing are going to be the mental health and substance abuse, but it could also be medical services, okay? People can have existing medical conditions that can impair them from living independently, or maybe if we can get them to see a doctor and get them treated, then we can get them healthy enough to a point where they can do that on their own. Social services, criminal justice. We have developed a pretty awesome working relationship with Bakersfield Police Department, and we run into situations where, hey, we want to get this person into the shelter, but they have a outstanding warrant. And I've been able to get on the phone before, and they're like, we'll be there in 20 minutes, and they've done a cite and release, which is amazing. You know, they're being proactive, wanting to get people shelter as well. Mental health services, we work very closely with the HAT team. We're doing, I don't know, I think we average sometimes about five assessments and screenings a week that we refer over to them. There's also the Roam team, you guys, and for those of you who are not familiar with the Roam team, those are those individuals that from our skilled observation, right, as working in social services, are in need of mental health assistance, but they're not grasping that at all. So we're able to make that referral over to Roam, and then they're going out and engaging with that person. And if they can just wave and that person smiles back, they consider that a good day, okay? They might not even push it any further than that. They're like, well, we'll come back tomorrow. They're just bringing snacks just to bring snacks, okay? There's no agenda attached. It's not like us bringing, you know, snacks out saying, hey, you need any vital docs? You want to get into housing? You know, doing the whole song and dance. They take it 100% at the individual's pace, which is amazing. They've been a great help to us. And then we assist them with the housing process. You guys, they stay enrolled in street outreach until they get that key in their hand and they're moved in. Okay, so there is a spot where street outreach kind of starts working in conjunction with our wonderful case managers, and we try and do what we can to support them. And then once they get that key, we just say, hey, we're so proud of you. That's amazing. We're going to be stepping back, but we're not forgotten. We'll see you around. Okay. So street outreach uses various skills and techniques while using the progressive engagement approach. One of the biggest is motivational interviewing, okay? We do not know everyone's story, and even after working with them for several months, we still don't know their whole story, okay? That motivational interviewing is us asking the client, hey, what do you really want to accomplish right now? And how can I guide you on a path to achieve that, okay? It is the ultimate definition of help me help you. You're going to educate me about you. You're going to educate me about your desires and objectives. And if you're interested, in my opinion, I will offer that to you to assist. I'm not just going to bombard you with what I think you need to be doing, okay? I might along the way saying, hey, we tried this one thing 3 times and it fell apart every single time. So maybe we try something a little bit different this time, if you're willing to do so, okay? We also approach it with trauma-informed care, guys. It's not that idea of what's wrong with that person. It's that idea of what happened to them. What's the story? Okay, I need to know the story to properly address what this person is going through. Okay, The fact that, guys, and I think we all know, being homeless is traumatic on its own. We have no idea the multiple layers of trauma that that person is carrying around on a daily basis. They're outside, it's 105. Maybe they've been told that they need to get moving on when they were just trying to be in the shade somewhere. And maybe by the time they show up at our office and it's been 6 weeks since they sent in that DMV ID voucher, they're probably going to be pretty agitated, you know? And it's our job to keep that in mind. You know, I always have to remind, kind of what Danielle was talking about earlier, I always have to remind myself that anger is a secondary emotion. It does not exist of itself. If someone's angry, it's because something happened. So it's my job to not take anything personally, or our outreach's job to not take anything personally, and do our best to just say, hey, I understand you're upset, and I really want to know what's going on. What happened to get you to that point? Okay? Doesn't always work, but we do our best, right? Trauma also has, I had a friend of mine asking me, you know, what do we need to do to end homelessness in Kern County? And sometimes I think that's a funny question because I think we're going to be seeing it for a long time, right? But one of the things that we discussed was that everyone who is out on the street experiencing homelessness is experiencing varying degrees of trauma. And that trauma has a voice, and that trauma needs to be heard in order to help that individual walk through it. So it's all of you folks who are coming together and are willing to roll up your sleeves and step out into the community to listen to that dialogue, okay, and help the individual sort through it. And they're going to want to bring that entire ball of life's problems to us, right? And say, here, take this, because I'm sick of this crap. And I've seen some of my outreach, because remember, their hearts are this big. They try and take that whole ball of problems, and it's like, no, maybe we just take this little top piece for today, okay? Because we're not going anywhere. We'll be here tomorrow. But let's not overwhelm ourselves today. Harm reduction. We had a heartbreaking story just the other day. A 22-year-old young lady approached her outreach team and said, I think I got hit with a dirty needle last night. I guess it's time I learn how to shoot up myself. And they were just dumbfounded. And the impact that had on them was very huge. Both former addicts themselves, but I think it was the first time they had ever really gotten hit with something like that. So in that sense, with that harm reduction, we're trying to refer people to needle exchange programs, or, you know, maybe getting over and getting some medical help, AGIS or whatever, for what they're going through, okay? We just had a situation the other day. Someone came running up to the outreach van and said, hey, my buddy's out, I need help. And we were able to get over there and start chest compressions and administer Narcan, and the guy came back around. So, and I think for all of us, we're all going to be seeing that more and more. I know the shelters have seen a lot of it, but that's just a reality of what we're doing, right? We're on the front lines. We build that trusting relationship between client and the street outreach worker. Probably one of the number one principles: don't make a promise you can't back up, because they will hold that against you for the rest of the time you're working with them, right? So we're realistic about it, okay? We're realistic about, hey, no, this is my role. This is my role. This is what your role is. We have what we call plan of care, which I absolutely love. We sit down with them saying, okay, what are those goals you want to achieve? Okay, and we list those goals, and then we talk about, okay, what are some of the agencies that are going to help us with that? Okay, and then we have the client put down those 3 things, top things that they're going to do to achieve those goals. And then on the other side, we put down the 3 that we're going to help them with. And then we both sign at the bottom. It's a contract. Okay, it's not a he said, she said. It's like, no, we sat down and we made a plan together. because you can count on me to do these things, but guess what? I'm going to be counting on you to do those. Okay, because we've all agreed this is what needs to happen for us to be successful. Okay. Okay. So housing case management, we have some of our case managers here today. Thank you so much. They do amazing work. Their role is to keep the client housed, okay? So if they're already enrolled, say, with mental health, or maybe they are taking some type of outpatient classes for substance use, they're trying to make sure that they're keeping those appointments, trying to make sure that they're teaching them life skills on how to keep their unit clean so their neighbors don't start complaining about the smell, maybe how to pay bills, so on and so forth. We keep those linkages to mental health and substance abuse continued, help them with acquiring income or increasing their income, find different ways that we can do that to assist them, budgeting and maintain their households and the relationship with their landlords. That is super important. And those living skills like we mentioned earlier. So here's all the different parts that we see, and neither Manny or I were smart enough. We wanted to put shelters in right here. Okay, so we got all the different cogs. We're all the same team, guys. We're just different cogs trying to do a different portion of it. Okay, and I'm truly glad to see all these faces, like I said earlier. So we got street outreach, and then sometimes we're, trying to get them into the shelter. We're passing the baton to M Street. We're passing the baton to the Mission, Open Door Network, or Brundage, okay? And then sometimes, though, they do go to coordinated entry. We do have some individuals that we work with from a street level. For whatever reason, they are not comfortable being in a congregate shelter. They need to be out on their own, lone wolf style. So we respect that. We always encourage, hey, are you sure it's getting hot or it's getting cold, or, oh, wow, look at that river water rising, that kind of stuff. So some of them do go straight to coordinated entry, and we continue to work with them there. We've gotten people housed while they've just been, making that choice to be where they're at. And then transition into that case management. As you all know, with a lot of those vouchers, they'll end up getting a year or more of case management, which for a lot of them is very, very vital. So there are different parts to this system. We all work together towards that common goal. So we're going to kind of wrap it up here, you guys. Progressive engagement means flexibility in your approach and level of services to meet where they are is important. It is essential. Okay, it is not one size fits all right? We need to take a step back and really examine, even reach out to other agencies, which I know recently all the by name list leads have been coming together to meet on some topics, and that has been huge because I want to thank Keith. Keith was able to give us a referral for assisted living programs and board and care, because for some of our clients, that's ultimately what's going to be best for them, right? The idea of them being able to live independently probably isn't going to be best for them, but we still want to work on that housing first model and find what is appropriate. Okay, assessment is critical. We need knowledge of clients' relevant history, current plans, and desires. Rapport building is important. Through building rapport, we're going to talk with them and develop that relationship and that trust, and start to get all that information so we can develop that plan as we go along. Because as we all know, we get curveballs all the time and have to come back and regroup and say, okay, maybe we need to go another direction with this. And I think that rapport building is huge, you guys. It is, and it can become, as you all well know, it can become so strong that we have had to almost work on making those transition appointments from street outreach to case management, because then they start looking at their street outreach team and they're like, where are you guys going? I thought, we're road dogs. We're doing this together. And they're like, we are, but this is just the next phase. It's all going to be okay. It's all going to be all right. We're not going anywhere. You know, you're just transforming, right? You did the hard work and it's paying off. This is like reward phase for you. We connect them to services that people want and need as quickly as possible. Once again, that goes back to like a motivational interviewing concept. It's not what I think you need right now, okay? We're not going to try and, you know, lead a horse to water that doesn't want to drink, okay? At least not out of a trough. Maybe he has more of a palate for river water. Who knows, okay? Reassessment is also critical. Situations change over time, and that means that the solutions may change as well. So just so you guys know, it was recently approved for us to be possibly re-skedadding people every 6 months, okay? Especially if there's a significant life change, which we have seen. All of a sudden, somebody gets maybe a diagnosis that they have cancer, or they've suffered some kind of injury or another traumatic event. Okay, that's something to take into consideration. So being aware of where your client currently is and what's going on with them is super critical. Is there still an active crisis? Is there a new crisis? Trying to check in on a regular basis, because as we all well know, things can flip upside down within 24 hours, all right? And being prepared for that, okay? We, as street outreach and other workers, we need to roll into the situation, not holding on to what we thought about yesterday, because today is a brand new ball game, right? And should we increase or decrease the level of service, and why? We've had to do that with clients sometimes who just aren't willing to move forward. You know, we're saying, hey, we've put these goals out time and time again for you, and for whatever reason, you're not willing to execute them. So maybe now at this time, we just kind of need to take a break, and then we're going to come back later and reassess, okay? Because if they're going to stay stagnant, you all well know that we cannot force them. All we can do is really try and pick a piece, parts of the puzzle to find out maybe why, and find out where their willingness is. And I think there was one more part. There was a tagline, Manny. You had a tagline for me. Let me grab that. Oh, yeah. So let's go back to the main principles, okay, of the progressive engagement, which are remaining flexible, okay? It is targeted assistance, which means we're trying to tailor it to the client, okay? It is not one size fits all, okay? And it is efficient. We all know that working in any kind of nonprofit or social service, I always jokingly tell new hires, hey, as long as you're willing to always accept that there's not enough funding and not enough time, welcome to Florida. You know, everything else will figure itself out along the way. You know, we have to operate in that gray area, right? It's not black and white. You know, if you can swim in the gray and make it happen, you're going to be just fine. Okay. But that efficiency is huge, because we all have a finite amount of resources for our agencies, and we have been stewards. We have been granted stewards of that funding, right? From government or whatever other programs. So it's our responsibility to make sure that it is as effective as it can possibly be, and to make that little go a long way, okay? And when we're able to do that and make that little bit go as far as it possibly can, we're ultimately able to serve more people, you guys, because all of that funding has gone into the appropriate area. That's all I have. Do you guys have any questions? Yes, sir. We have not sent anyone to another country yet, and we've had people ask, but their ability to get like a passport or something like that is just, we don't have the funding in place for that part of it. Yeah. Anybody else? Anything? Huh?
Good job.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So every 6 months that can be reevaluated. Any other questions? No, no, no. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate every single one of you for what you do each and every day for people of our community. All right, God bless you.
Guys, one more hand. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you, Danielle. Everybody was here today, and thank you, everybody, for being here. I may learn something new today. All right, that's what it's all about, right? And, so we can better serve the people that are out there. Hey, there's a bunch of information over here. Edward Robinson, the social servant, he's got all kinds of information. I think Danielle's got some stuff. There's a sheet there that has the rest of the schedule, for the CoC University. And, so that, again, just remind you, the next one is on July, 27th, all right? They're always on Thursdays, and, from 9 o'clock, and that will probably go until 1. We won't provide lunch at that one. We didn't provide lunch today because we're done a little bit early, but we do have, are there any snacks left back there? All right, still have some snacks and stuff if you need something there. But thank you for being here. You are dismissed. Have a great day.